and they were in these beautiful red dresses and dancing and singing. They all had beautiful voices, and I was like, I want to be one of them. I was always into like looking at women, but not in a way of like fantasizing about being with them. It was more about fantasizing about being them. So like I paid lots of attention to how women dressed, what they looked like, you know, the length of my mother's nails and stuff like that. Like it always fascinated me. Heels, all that stuff. It just, the concept of what a woman looked like, even growing up for me in the 80s, like.
On that same vein, in that story with ESPN, you talked about wanting to protect young girls who shouldn't have to go against biological men. Just can you expand your viewpoint on that?
I mean, I think I said what I said. I think it's kind of common sense. And I think I'll always believe in that. I think it's really important to protect children, and that's little girls who are also involved in that category. And so I stand on what I said, and I always believe that.
Yeah. Do you see your advocacy on that, like, taking any form going forward? You know,
I don't know. I'm not a very political person, but I do have beliefs. I have morals, and I'll always stand on those and be true to who I am. And I think people are going to take it how they want to take it, but I've never even really said anything about that. And so when it comes just to protecting young girls in sport and women in sport, I feel very strongly about that. I think that's why you have Title IX. That's why you have some of the greats in women's sports. If Title IX and women's sports weren't protected, then you wouldn't hear about any type of women in sport. And so I think in the future, it's just really important to protect.
Do you think, I guess, along the line like that, it goes against perhaps, some people might say, hey, for the trans community, this could be something that could come back on us or be targeted against us. Like, how do you, I guess, view that sort of critique?
You know, like I said, I extend love, and I don't dislike anyone. Like, I think there is room for absolutely everyone here, and I think there's room to love everyone. And I truly think when you get people in the same room and you have conversations, you actually have a lot in common with a lot of people. And so I'm there to love, but I'm also there to love biological women, and I think that there are rights that need to be protected. And like I said, I'm going to stand true to that. I'll never falter in my beliefs in that, but I have never once said I hated the trans community. Like I said, I think there's space for everyone.
Yo, so we back in here for another edition of F-ya-Motha. Now, when this actually went viral and Sophie Cunningham did the whole pointing thing, I didn't really jump on that shit because I didn't feel the need to actually chime in. I'm not really a WNBA fan. I don't like watching bitches play basketball. I'm just keep it 100. I'm not saying they can't. I'm not saying they can. I just don't find it entertaining. They're built like men. They look like lesbians, and it's nothing appealing. Now, unless they start coming out there chunky with butt cheeks or at least toned, muscular, juicy bodies, yeah, I'm not. It's not my thing. Not only that, even if they did, most of them, they facial, you know what I'm saying, they look like Larry Bird looking motherfuckers. And it's just not my flavor, neighbor. Like, I like women that's aesthetically beautiful. I like women doing women shit. I have never been a fan of women doing man shit. And even though people are out there saying that basketball necessarily isn't a man's sport, it actually is. Just like cheerleading is a woman's sport. When you see men out there cheerleading, it looks fucking weird, at least to me. In the same vein as stewardess or flight attendants. I don't even like the fact that they changed the name from stewardess to flight attendant, because now you got some gay little twink serving you drinks and peanuts. Pause. I'm just saying, like, I'm traditional. I'm old school. This new way of being, like, until I start seeing bitches out there with Carhartts and construction hats and Timberlands, and not for fashion, but they actually out there like digging in the ground or irrigating ditches or drilling to fix a main water vein. I really don't like that whole, you know what I'm saying, I don't know what the fuck to call it, right? It's weird. Basketball, if you like watching slender ass white women and narrow built black chicks, have at it. But this actually piqued my interest, because she actually says something that I actually have the same sentiment about. While I'm not against trans people, let me just make that clear for you too, because they be acting like some hoe ass niggas. I'm not against trans people. However, I believe that if you're a biological male, Since everybody wants to convolute shit, right? They want to just make a distinction between sex and gender. Let's play that game. I'm not even going to signify it by mentioning the gender. I'll just mention the goddamn sex. If you're a biological male, you should not be able to play sports with biological females. And I hate saying females because ironically, there once upon a time was when you called a woman a female, they got mad. Right? They wanted to be called a woman. That was their role in society, right? And me, I'm old school. I believe that gender and sex, while they are two distinct things, they run in tandem, right? Because you're sex or because you are a female, that is what makes your role as a woman. Because you're a male, that's what makes your gender as a man. I'm not with this whole new school ideology that you can put on whatever the fuck gender you feel like, or is 72 genders. I ain't with that new school shit. Half of these niggas can't read cursive, can't read period, and they can't fucking tell time from an analog clock. Why am I taking directives from a young dummy? I'm just gonna put that out there. And while I might be in my early 40s, I ain't that fucking old. I had to tell somebody that was like in their late 20s, talking about, you just from a different era. I am, bitch, but your era and my era, there's a bridge, bitch. Meaning everything that you know, I was actually relatively young learning the same shit that you grew up on. That's how that works. I wasn't born in dinosaur times. I'm not fucking senior citizen age. I'm not a fucking SSI recipient. I'm actually not your peer, but actually a more mature version of what you'll become. Right? A lot of people like to think when you hit 40 you turn old, and I be trying to tell people, you get in your 40s, bro, that's the age of maturity. That's when human beings come to an age of maturity. While you may be able to pay rent and file taxes and get insurance in your 20s and 30s, your frontal lobe don't develop until about 32, 35, and you don't actually mature until you're 40. Now if you take care of yourself and you lay off the narcotics, you ain't got to worry about looking like a fucking dried up grapefruit, and you can still have a youthful appearance while simultaneously being mature. So I agree with this woman. Like, yeah, like I don't want no fucking old ass bozo playing sports with us, right? That signifies that you a bitch. You couldn't cut it with the men, right? And sports is supposed to be elite. You supposed to be an elite athlete that actually plays with your peers. You want to play amongst women. Everybody knows that women and men like aren't in the same league as it pertains to physicality. The fuck are we doing here? But you got young dummies persuading old dummies, and the shit's all fucked up. That's why I'm glad Donald Trump's in office, so he can clean up some of this monkey ass shit, because I ain't got the fucking time for it. And I agree with her, right? And some people gonna call her right wing because she had the same sentiment as most right leaning people and even Donald Trump. But she's fucking smart, right? Anybody that passed sociology class or biology class with an A or a B has the right to speak this opinion. If a lot of these motherfuckers are retards, socially awkward, people that are introverts and don't have fucking friends and couldn't actually expound and build on a social life, so they start making shit up. That's not how life works. And I'm glad that she's doubled down on it, because most people need to speak the truth and keep it 100 and stop just like everybody's just going along to get along. Fuck that. You don't like me because I told the truth? Suck a dick or die trying. In any event, if y'all like this episode, you know what to do, and I'm is out. No.